In today's video, you're going to learn the simple method that I use in order to have a strong and loving relationship with my child and teenager and to have more love and peace in the home. And in fact, it's so simple, you can do it too. And if you stick around to the end, I'll throw in a bonus tip that will help you with that. Now let's get into it. I'm Jason Curtis, husband and father of 4. This channel is all about strengthening families by helping parents do and be better. Welcome to Principal Parenting. As a parent, you want a more loving, peaceful home, and you want a stronger relationship with your child. But what happens is you get caught up in the day-to-day duties of being a parent. Meals, school, practices, things like that. And then after a while, you kind of start to notice there's a little less love, a little less peace in the home, a little bit of contention, and even maybe some yelling going on. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. With just a few small, simple actions on your part, you can have a more loving home, a more peaceful home, and a stronger relationship with your child. I want to share with you an experience that I had with one of my sons recently. I got up one morning and I was going to go for a walk. And on this walk, I had initially planned on going over some things I wanted to plan and do for upcoming videos in order to help you as a viewer be a better parent. Well, it just so happened he was up, which is kind of surprising because it's summer and generally they sleep in. But I asked him if he wanted to go for a walk, and he said yes. So immediately I thought to myself, this is a great time to talk and just spend some time with my son. Forget what I was going to do. My son is more important in this moment. So we ended up going for 45 minutes, which is a longer walk than I thought he might go on, but it flowed well. We had a nice, uplifting, strong bonding moment with love, care, understanding. It was just a very enjoyable experience all around. But it could have gone differently had I not followed a simple method. But so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down what happened on this walk and the method I use so that you too can create and have strong bonding moments with your children. Now, this simple method I use to create strong bonding moments with my children has 5 parts. And the first one isn't necessarily a thing, but it's just an overall mindset. So number 1 that you want to remember is to spend their time. Okay, now this is the child's time. So you want to spend it in a way that's going to uplift them, in a way that's going to make them happy, in a way that's enjoyable to them. Now you might have a young child, a preteen, a teenager, or even a grown adult. That doesn't really matter. In these moments, it's all going to work the same, but in these moments, you want to get out of parenting mode and you want to get into scientist mode, right? So just like a scientist, you want to learn, you want to explore, you want to find out. You don't necessarily know exactly how it's going to go and you don't really care. You just want to learn and find out. So you want to learn and find out about your child in these moments. This is their time. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to pass judgment, okay? And you don't want to give any advice or very little advice, if any advice at all. Again, this isn't a talk to them time. This is a find out and listen to them, learn from them time. The second thing, number 2, is you need to say less. Now, when we started this walk, there's some things going on in my life I was kind of excited about, and I've been sharing it with him, and so I wanted to let him know how it was going, what was happening, things like that. And I noticed though, the more that I was talking, the less happy and the less excited he was about being on this talk. Now, it is good that I was sharing because it kind of gets the conversation going, but I overdid it. See, I noticed after about 5 or 10 minutes of talking, and I didn't talk the whole 5 and 10 minutes, but after, he was responding. But after about 5 or 10 minutes, I noticed that he was getting bored. He wasn't really liking being on this walk, and that is the clue. That is the moment I know I need to shut up. I need to talk less because it's not my time, it's their time. So I needed to talk less. So once I realized I needed to say less, that leads me to number 3, ask more. Now, leading up to this walk and even within this walk as we're talking, I had remembered and noticed that he had said certain things and hobbies and interests and likes that he had in his life. And as a parent, I'm paying attention to this and I'm noticing them. I'm kind of locking them away, knowing that these are some of the things he likes. So I started asking him about them. How is it going? What's he liking? What's not? Just things like that, trying to find out more about him. And immediately when I start asking him about these things, he gets happier. He's excited. He's now not bored on the walk and he wants to share more with it. And so that's what I did, is I just continued to ask more of the things that made him excited. So after you were asking these things, The next thing is number 4, to listen. Now, we've all kind of been in an experience where we meet someone, or maybe we're listening to someone and they're telling us something. Maybe we ask them a question, they give us the answer, and we don't even know what they said. In fact, we forget immediately. We ask them their name and we can't even remember. Because what's happening is we're so worried, or we're so focused on what we want to say, what we want to share, what we want to get across, that we're not even listening or paying attention to the other person. In fact, in that moment, the other person isn't really that important. Now, we don't want to do that in those situations, and we definitely don't want to do that with our children. So it's important that once you start asking these questions, you are really listening to what they're saying. You're paying attention to their attitude, their emotions, their thoughts, how they're describing things of that nature. What is making them happy? What's making them sad? What's really kind of getting their boat? What floats their boat? What gets them going? And pay attention to these so that you can know how to better interact with your children, a child in the moment and in the future, to have a better bond so you can take a better interest in their life. And I mentioned we need to be in scientist mode. And like a scientist, I didn't have a predetermined thing that I was going to say or do with my child other than I'm just going to talk with him and kind of find out about him. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but I was still interested, and I'm just going through and listening and asking questions. Now, the more I ask questions and the more I listen, and if I'm truly listening, that's going to lead to the last step, which is explore. Okay, I'm going to take what I hear from the questions I ask, and that's going to let me know what other questions I need to ask. I'm paying attention to when he's sad or happy or frustrated or excited, and I'm asking questions such like this. Oh, tell me more about that. Oh, why were you frustrated? What did you like about this? What didn't you like about this? Now, those are kind of more general type questions, but you want to be specific in the questions you ask. So it might be something like, tell me more about whatever thing he just told you, or what was it about this particular instance that made you frustrated? So you want to add some specific, whatever. You want to add that to, you want to be specific in that so that 1, they know you're paying attention to them, and 2, it is helping you be a better listener, and it's kind of locking it away more internally to you, and that's part of what's going to make a strong bond and create more love and care between the two of you. Now, during this whole interaction on this walk that we've had, I'm paying attention to things like speech, emotion, how they say things, what gets them going, what, like I said earlier, what floats their boat, okay? And I'm going to use this information to help love and support them. Now, what I mean by that is I'm going to tuck it away and I'm going to remember it so that in future times, maybe when they're frustrated, I can know what helped get them over that, what frustrated them, what did they like, what didn't they like. Little things like this can help me get some insight into their life so I can better support them and better love them in the future. Now, also in these moments, there's a couple things you don't want to do. You don't want to pass judgment. So what that means is if they tell you about their hobby or their likes or interests, and you may think they're boring, or you may not even like them at all, or you might think they're stupid, I don't know. But you don't want to pass judgment on that, okay? How you respond is very important to the child continuing to share with you. Now, inside, they might share with you something that makes you want to scream or freak out, like, oh, they just told me something crazy, but you're not gonna freak out. You're just gonna keep it, and you're gonna ask for more information in the sense of, oh, why did you feel that way? What made you feel like you needed to do that? What made you feel like you wanted to pursue that? Or something along those lines, but you're basically going to find out more information about them. That's going to help them open up more, and it's gonna help you come to terms with whatever it is that maybe caused you to freak out a little bit. Now, you can return to it at a later time, but not right then. Plus, if you come to it at a later time, you have a little bit more information and you've had time to process it so that you can both talk in a nice way. Because you want them to continue to share with you. You don't want to lock it off. And that's another thing you don't want to do, is you don't want to give advice during these moments. Now, you may give a little advice, but if you give any advice, it's going to be very little, and you're going to ask them first. It's going to be something like this. That's interesting. Would you like to hear my thoughts? And they might say yes, they might say no. Or you might say something like, have you thought about this? And that's pretty much as far as you want to go or as you want to push it, because you don't want this to turn into you were telling them or you're lecturing kind of time. Otherwise, they're not going to want to go on a walk with you anymore, or they're not going to want to have these moments because they know it's just going to turn into you telling them or you lecturing, and that's what they don't want to do. Okay, you want them to be able to want to continue having these strong moments that uplift them. Now, when my child said yes to going on the walk, it was a good value proposition for them. So what I mean is he was up in the morning, and whatever it is he was going to do or why he was up, him going on a walk was either the same or better than the alternative of whatever he was going to do. And maybe he was going to do nothing, and so that was the only option. But nonetheless, it was still a better choice for them. He said yes because he didn't feel like he was going to get verbally crapped on or verbally beat up or lectured to. He felt that it was just going to be an enjoyable experience. So I wanted to keep it that way, and you want to continue to keep it that way. Now, I know it was an uplifting experience for him, and we came closer together because initially we only went for 30 minutes and then we came back. But he was talking and I was listening, and so I'm like, hey, do you want to go a little bit longer? So we went for another 15-minute walk, and that's what made the 45 minutes. And even then, when we came back, he was still talking and sharing and was excited, so we talked a little bit more. So if he had to give a review of this talk, it'd probably be something like 5 stars, I would walk here again. And I know that's true just because of the interactions we've had since then in relation to that. And overall, in these moments, you want them to always be uplifted. In fact, every moment that they have with you, you want them to be uplifted and feel the love. And I realize that there are times when you have to maybe kind of correct your child or reprove them a little bit, but you always want to make sure you show an increase of love in those times. They always need to feel the love and care from you and know that no matter what they say or do, you love them. And that's why you need to show an increase of love in the times where you have to reprove. But in these times of these bonding moments, make it about them. Make them feel the love and care and that you truly care about them and you're interested in them. Now, this framework is something that will create these bonding moments for your child, and they will also work if you use the framework in other aspects of your life and with other relationships you have. So I would encourage you to create these moments with your children and also in other areas of your life to create strong relationships with others. Let me know in the comments what is working for you, what's not. What are you liking? What are you not liking? In fact, how are you doing as a parent? What do you need help with? What other videos do you want to suggest that we can make for you? How can I help support you as a parent? Tell me those things in the comments. And now for those of you that have stuck around to the very end, here's one last tip to help with these bonding moments. Now, these bonding moments, they don't have to take 45 minutes and it doesn't have to be on a walk. In fact, they can be short, spontaneous, or random moments. It could be in the car on the way to the store. It could be while playing a game. Or it could be just some other time that comes up. Maybe you're tucking them in at night. Okay, these are times where pay attention to what the child wants or doesn't want. Okay, ask them questions. And these moments, it's kind of like fishing, right? You're going to throw that line in the water. You're going to cast it in the water, and you want the fish to bite. But sometimes they don't, and that's okay. If they don't take the bait, they don't bite, don't force it, because if you force it, it's going to make it worse. And try to have these bonding moments at different times. Of course, if the child always likes and looks forward to, say, a walk with you, then keep that the same. Give them what they like because it's their time. But if it's always the same thing over and over, that might get kind of boring or monotonous to them. So pay attention to some of the things they're feeling, saying their reactions in these moments. If you want more information on this and some of the other things, check out the videos. How can we support you? And download our free parent scorecard to help you grow and learn as a parent. Thanks for watching. Happy parenting and have a great day.